So, if you guys didn't see on the internet, they just dropped a new trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. And fuck was it good, seeing Michael Keaton as the Vulture, which, I'm just going to say this right now, the Vulture is one of the dumbest fucking characters in the comics. But damn, man, he looks like a real badass. I love the John Hughes type feel to this, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and all those kind of like 80s school teen movies, the way it kind of plays off, the humor in it's really good. I love the interaction between him and Tony Stark in the limo. You gotta go see that. It's like, oh man, thanks for the hug. He's like, no dude, I'm just opening the door. Get the fuck out. Like, this movie is shaping up to be something great. Just the images of them flying together through the air, basically, that is iconic as fuck. The opening scene that we see in the trailer is a bank robbery with a bunch of dudes in masks, and when they turn around, you see they're all wearing like these 1970s comic versions of the Avenger masks. And in Spider-Man, man, it's so good. This movie is shaping up to be something awesome. And one thing I did notice is at the end, there's not a Sony symbol to be seen anywhere, just Marvel. What you guys think about that?
Oh, you don't know how long I've waited to see a good Spider-Man movie, and I feel my expectations for this one are so high because I feel like this is it. This is the one that's actually going to set everything right after a fucking 3 movies and a reboot, 2 more movies, and now I think they're finally going to get it right. Just because the fucking costume's finally fucking right. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Steve Ditko all the way.
I mean, we'll get back to that in a minute. But, you know, just for the simple fact that there's no damn Sony symbols anywhere to be seen, just tickled my pickle like nobody's business. So, and I love the humor. I did love that joke from Tony Stark. I'm not hugging you. I'm getting in the door. Get out. You know, that one just fucking made me so happy. And then, you know, later on, his friend was like, you were just crawling on the ceiling. No, it wasn't. You know, it's
right.
those zingers and those lines that, you know, make people fall in love with Spider-Man. And the second version kind of had a little bit more of that. And that first one, I didn't really get that zingy feel from and stuff. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I've watched all the 5 other movies, and I was like, it is what it is.
Oh, I'm right there with you, man. I hated the Tobey Maguire ones. A lot of people liked them. I couldn't stand any of them.
Oh,
Then the first Amazing Spider-Man with not Killer Croc, but with
Lizard.
It was a lizard, and I thought that was decent. It was okay. The guy was way too old. They started bringing in that cockiness that he has as Spider-Man, and then that nerdish humor that he has as a regular guy, but it still wasn't there. And the second one of that was just horrible. But this one, they nailed Spider-Man's character. He's cocky as fuck once he puts that costume on because it's his alter personality. He can act out what he really feels inside without being embarrassed of it. But then they had that awesome scene where it's him and his friend in the lunchroom. They're like, oh, look at her. Oh, her hair. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And they just keep staring at her. And the one friend goes, Peter goes, I think it's getting creepy. We should stop. He's like, yeah. And then the girl, like, to the side of him is like, dude, it's been creepy for like 5 minutes. And it's just like, I just love, they're getting what Spider-Man is.
I mean, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I mean, it's fucking taken, whatever fucking word I want to use here. It's been so long coming, and when we're finally getting it, I know everyone that's a fan is super duper excited. We're interested in how it's going to go. Yeah, I've seen some comments about, the main villain being, I believe it's the Vulture, and people are trying to, really is that the villain to use for this movie, and maybe the casting for Aunt May isn't right or whatever. I think Marissa Tomei is going to do perfectly fine. I think that's who it is, right?
Yeah, and I'm perfectly fine with Hot Aunt May. They're trying to make the movies work in the movie universe, so they have to change a few things up. But unlike the other movies, they are keeping the exact spirit from the comic books about who this guy is. And I love that we actually get to see the web wings for the first time on the suit.
Yes, I did see the trailer. I did get to watch it. I thought, so it was really weird for me to watch it because I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember seeing, I know that you said that the Tobey Maguire ones were crap to you, but that's the ones that I'm used to seeing. And so when I saw this young kid, I was like, wait, are they like trying to retro back, or is it a new Spider-Man? Like,
yeah, he was in the Civil War movie. Finally, Marvel got the rights to use Spider-Man. So Sony, they had a just before you go, just so everybody knows, because some people like you don't know, you're not super geeks like me when it comes to Spider-Man. Sony owned the rights to Spider-Man, even though it's a Marvel comic. They bought it way before the Marvel Studios started, right? So the movies have not been making a lot of money for Sony, and they just didn't know how to pin down the characters. So finally, they gave in and said, "Okay, Marvel, we'll let you use Spider-Man in your movies." And you can make Spider-Man movies for us as long as we get like half the money, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So they finally came to an agreement. So Civil War, Captain America Civil War was the first time they showed this new Spider-Man.
Okay, so then that makes a little bit more sense. But still, I was like, okay, so why isn't it? So that kind of threw me off a little bit. I thought that it looked good in terms of action. Did kind of get this vibe that they were trying to... overdo it like Batman versus Superman. So hopefully it doesn't turn out like that. But
I hope not.
Yeah, so that's just kind of the vibe that I got from it, because I did see Spider-Man versus Superman, and my job paid for me to go see that. And then it was like, I hope that they don't overdo it like that and try too hard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so I hope that it doesn't turn out like that, because obviously, with Spider-Man versus Superman, we saw all this great trailer and everything looked good, and the movie was actually pretty mediocre. They did that thing where they put all the best parts in the trailers.
We both have the same named mom. We're best friends now.
Yeah, and I'm just like, really? Could there have been a less climactic movie than this?
Right, in a 5-minute battle between Batman and Superman, and that was it.
I know! Like, really? Of all the fights that people have imagined between Batman and Superman over the years, that was it.
Right.
Really?
One of the most limp dick fights ever.
I know. So, but as long as I think if they keep it, like, with the same, hype and enthusiasm that they did the previous movies, they didn't try to overdo it too much, and it kept with the storyline, and kept, they really kept the viewer's interest in mind. I think it'll be okay. Even though it does kind of give off that vibe that they're kind of trying it too hard. But
yeah.
But I think that it has potential. I mean, every movie has potential, and it can either make or break your career. So hopefully that young kid, will get recognized for something.
People are already in love with him because of Civil War.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been some pretty big name actors that, did movies that ended up, bombing, and then their careers were pretty much shot. So
finito.
Yeah, done.
Well, like I think you would have a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Hope for it if you saw Captain America: Civil War, because it was basically the Batman v Superman of the Marvel universe, but with like 30 characters, and they still pulled it off amazingly. Yeah. Like, seeing Spider-Man go up against Captain America was awesome. Seeing Spider-Man going up against Ant-Man / Giant Man and taking him down like he was... You've seen Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yes.
Remember the big walkers? He literally takes down Ant-Man by emulating the Star Wars movies. It's like, what's that old movie, Empire Strikes Back? Let's take... and then he takes him down like the walkers, which is funny. So that's why I have a lot of hope for this, because I really do feel like you're saying... Yeah. Like, they're going all out, and look what happened with Batman v Superman. But they've already pulled it off with Captain America Civil War, and it's the same team doing this. So, that gives me a little bit more reassurance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I love that they actually have a high school kid playing a high school kid. Fuck's sake. Not a 40-year-old.
What? What do you mean? I'm going through my midlife crisis. I can still be 18.
And from what they're saying, the trilogy of these movies are going to take place throughout all his high school. So he starts off as a sophomore, then junior, and then senior, and that's how they're going to run it through the whole thing. So
fuck freshmen, apparently.
Right?
Sorry.
Also, they're going to have...
Some places consider that, like, junior high now, though?
Some places. I mean, when I was growing up, that was high school still to me. I was in a junior high before that, so I guess most places aren't like that anymore, though, are they?
I know Ben Davis Junior High when I was there. It capped out at 9th grade, so freshman year.
Yeah, back in '83.
First of all, fuck you. I was still a sperm in '83.
You said you were still experimenting at '83?
I was still a sperm.
Or an egg, but you know, I mean, those last forever. Sperm get recycled every now and then, but you know, that ain't none of my business.
Well, I mean, my dad always used to tell me that the better part of me was strung through pantyhose, so.
Also, another really cool thing about this, before I forget, they actually are saying there might be 3 villains in this, not just Vulture. They've already showed pictures of the Shocker, and maybe we might get to see a little bit of Venom in this somewhere. So, Carnage has been confirmed for one of the sequels. So,
yeah, I saw that. I saw people wanting to play Carnage. My whole thing is, are they really going to try to introduce 3 of the Sinister Six in this first one, 3 in the second one, and then have all 6 of them by the third one? I mean, come on now.
I think they're going to go for a Venom story, a symbiote story, like where all the symbiotes happen. But what I think they're doing with this one, like I've seen, yes, some comic book movies fuck up when they have more than one villain and they overstretch it. But I think the way they're going to play this one off is, you know, he's been crime fighting for a while since Civil War, right? So, like, he comes in the beginning of the movie, he takes down one of these villains super fast. The other one you might just see foreshadowed, and then the main big one is the Vulture throughout the entire movie. That I can see working, if they do it like that.
Yeah, I mean, because of the way they already have it set up, I hope they don't fucking waste our time with the backstory of getting bit by the spider and all that. Just go ahead and, you know, we all understand that's what's going on. Don't dick with the 10, 15, 20 minutes you're going to put towards that effort. Just let us go ahead and enjoy the movie from where we are, because we all already know what's going on. I mean, if we don't, then fuck you, dude. Get out from underneath the rock and go watch either the 90s goddamn cartoon, read the damn comics that's been going on for, 40 plus years, and get with it.
Yeah.
So I had a moment there.
Yeah, no, I feel you. That's why I love how they did it in Civil War. Like, this is awesome. You haven't seen it, Michelle, but when Iron Man goes to recruit Spider-Man for his team, right? He goes up to him and he's like, oh, yeah, I got all this evidence on you, blah, 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 shows the video. And he goes, so how the hell did you get these powers? He goes, well, you see, there's a spider and radioactive. He's like, fuck it, I don't care. Just, yeah. And then just shut him up like halfway through the sentence.
Oh my god.
He's like, yeah, never mind, fuck, he's like, I don't care, never mind. And just cut him off. And I love the dichotomy of Tony Stark and Peter Parker. There's this kind of like mentor-student vibe, but at the same time, Tony Stark's kind of a dick and an asshole, and Peter Parker can be like an under-his-breath smartass, so it kind of really works together in that aspect.
Okay, huh. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. Usually my job pays for us to go see these things. They paid for us to go see Doctor Strange.
That was an awesome movie, man.
I did not go to that one because I had surgery that day.
Oh, you should have gone.
I let somebody else go. Though.
It's really good.
Surgery to fix your leg. I'll go see a movie. Oh, let me take my options here.
Well, when you can start walking better, come over. I got a Fire Stick, man. I've watched that movie, like, my entire family's watched that movie like 3 times now. I still...
Oh, just hobble on over here. Come on.
Man, I still want to smoke right now.
This is the first time in a long time I just want to sit down, smoke a joint, and watch a movie. Because fuck is that movie trippy.
Okay.